Does Subramanian Swami respond to that? That there is this notion of belief and faith. You know, that the Hindus have the faith that this is Ram Janmasthan. Muslims equally strongly seem to believe that there was a mosque where namaz was read for 450 years. Now, in that situation, this whole notion of faith, when it comes into the legal process, does become complicated.
No, but the mosque is not the same as the temple. Mosque, I'm sorry, you can read namaz anywhere. You read it on railway platform, you read it on the aeroplane. It has been. No, you can. I am not talking about puja. I am talking about prana pratishtha puja, which is where the idol is put there. The Lord comes there. That's why Lord Ram has been accepted as one of the juristic personalities in the title.
That's an interesting point. I want to bring in Ashok Desai there. You know what the court seems to have accepted, Mr. Desai, is that Ram Lalla itself is a juristic personality in itself. 1/3 of the land is essentially be given to Ram Lalla. Is that something which you believe is challengeable, or do you accept that?
No. I think in India we have a special law under which the idol itself can be a juris persona, and you can file a suit in the name of Hanuman at a certain temple through the pujari. So Ram Lalla can be a plaintiff. But I want to ask you a basic question.
Yes.
Is it possible to think of a settlement with Mr. Gilani on one side and Subramanian Swami on the other? They both have opposite views, well-meaning but directly opposite. The only way to settle this matter is when the matter goes to the Supreme Court, and parties, which will itself take a year or two,
yes,
because the records are extremely heavy, the parties start their argument, and it is at that point of time that when they are dealing with actual issues that the good offices of the judges might help a settlement.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will have large number of people agreeing out of goodwill, and equally large number of people taking extreme stands on both the sides.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Owaisi. Mr. Owaisi, you know, I come back to it. Extreme stands, maximalist positions, yes. Constitutional positions which Yogendra reaffirms, yes. But within all that, don't you think that a solution is possible for a new India? Look around you. There is an India which wants this issue resolved, which wants to move beyond Ayodhya. There is calm across the country. They would like to move beyond the issue. Isn't this an opportunity, in a sense, to be with the tide of new India?
Who's stopping India from developing? Why do you put this burden of secularism always on the Muslim shoulders? For last 60 years, people like you have been telling us, no, secularism has to be kept alive by us.
Yes.
I mean, who's stopping the nation to grow? You have an eminent cephalogist sitting beside you. Kindly ask him that what has been the share of development of Muslims in India? I mean, did we say we should not be developed? Of course, India should develop. India should become strong.
Yes.
But a wrong has been done to me on 6th of December 1992. And the whole world has seen it, and this has to be corrected. So, I fail to understand
yes,
that because India has to progress, I should follow your line of thinking. I should allow my rights to be trampled. I should allow a grand Ram temple to be constructed over there. I should be forced to take that 1/3 piece of land and be happy in that. No. I will not accept that.
That's an important point somewhere which is coming out, Mahesh Jetmalani, that 6th December 1992, which many believe was a dark day for Indian democracy. Even Mr. L.K. Advani has said he was very saddened by it. Some believe has now been legitimized. That ab initio, what was seen as an illegal act, is now being legalized and legitimized. That's where I think Owaisi is coming from. That's where the Muslim sense of grievance is coming from. How would you respond to that?
Well, there are two apprehensions, and prima facie, they seem to be legitimate, voiced by Mr. Owaisi and by Mr. Gilani. One is that, somehow or the other, this judgment validates what happened on the 6th of December 1992. That's not true. That has a history of its own. This is a title suit. I have to emphasize, this is a right to ownership of the land on which the disputed structure stood on. The Muslims have, unfortunately for them, been non-suited on the ground of limitation. But that doesn't validate the demolition. They mustn't forget that the criminal cases pertaining to those who were responsible for bringing down that structure is very much pending. I mean, it's taken an inordinate amount of time. There's no doubt about that. But then delay is endemic to our system, unfortunately. But that it's not validated at all. The criminal prosecutions go on. Secondly, then an apprehension was voiced that, this will lay a precedent for the future. But that's not correct. We have in place in 1991 itself the Places of Worship Act. By Section 5 of that Act, only the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute was exempted from those provisions.
Right.
Otherwise, the law is in this country that as structures stood, religious places stood, on the 15th of August 1957, their character will not be changed. They stand protected. So
Right.
if there was a mosque in 15 January 1947, it will continue to remain a mosque. It will not change its character. So for all other structures in dispute, if they are in dispute, the Places of Worship Act protects them.
Right.
The exemption was this, and it has been resolved. So the two apprehensions voiced by Mr. Gilani and by Mr. Owaisi are
Right.
both actually unfounded, and they're taken care of.
Okay.
I would actually request them to ponder about this judgment, particularly since they've been non-suited on the ground of limitation. I know they feel very aggrieved, and Mr. Jalani has been very temperate in his statements. I respect him. He's respected the judgment and said, I'll go and appeal. But he must equally ponder that he's been given 1/3 of the land, and the Allahabad High Court gives him a formula whereby he can build a mosque side by side.